How's it going, bros? Back with another banger, and today we've got a super special episode where we're gonna raid this village. Okay? No, but really, I'm actually running out of footage, so I'm using old one, pre-Iron Me, um, and then we're gonna transition if I do run out of footage to new footage where I'm building something. So if it gets to that point, if it gets long enough, if I get to 10 minutes of talking about this, which I doubt it. Anyway, for a bit of context before I start, I dream journal sometimes. If it's a particularly wacky dream or a dream I think has meaning, I've got a book with pages where I just write stuff. Some of them, I'd say, more reflective, and some of them just things that happened and weirdly happened on that day after I dreamed it. So maybe I'll talk about that one too. The first one I want to talk about is an African uncle took my car and drove me to Watford. You might be thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. An African uncle took my car and drove me to Watford. That was a very vivid dream I had, and here's what happened. So I was driving, and notoriously, if you know me, I don't like driving around where I live. It's shit. But I was driving in the night somewhere. Don't know where I was driving. Not any roads I recognise, but it was definitely in my city. There I am, and a police officer turns his lights on, pulls me over, and I'm like, why? And then suddenly I'm in the back seat, driving from the back seat, and I'm pulling over. I'm like, what seems to be the problem, sir? What seems to be the problem, PC principal? And he says, you are driving without headlights, my son. I said, no, they're on, look. And they were on. But then I look away for a second, and I look back, and now they're off. Well, what's going on? And an African uncle, who's a police officer, opens my door. Now he's out of his uniform. And he says, let me show you something. So he gets into the driver's seat while I'm driving from the back, removes my hands from the steering wheel extremely delicately, and then shows me in the car I drive, you gotta twist the knob to turn the headlights on. I'm not a car guy, I don't know if every car has that. You gotta twist the knob. It shows this is how you turn the headlights on. Turns it twice, headlights are on. I was like, yeah, but they're already on. He's like, no, no, you're listening to me now. He shows me how to turn it on, and then he closes the door, gets it into first gear. We're driving off. I'm like, this is my car. What are you doing? You're leaving behind your police car. He says, no, I will show you something. I will show you the world. And then he starts driving me off. We're driving through the city of Birmingham. All of a sudden, the sun's rising and we're on the motorway. He says, I say, Uncle, we've been driving 20 minutes now. Where are we going? He says, we're going to the land of the free. We are going somewhere you cannot fathom. And we're driving. I don't know how far Watford is from where I live, so we're driving for about 2 hours, I think. Um, I'm just there, it's casually. It's just going. 2 hours passes by in 2 minutes. It's a dream. And then as we approach, it says "Welcome to Watford" on one of the signs, and he says, "Now we are here, the land of the free." I said, "Uncle, this is Watford." He said, "Yes, land of the free." And then he starts driving me through Watford, showing me the signs. And then he parks up on the side, turns off my headlights, and says, now you have learned your lesson. And all of a sudden, we're back where we started. He says, I want to go back. I say, I want to go back to the land of the free. He says, you will when you are ready. You will go back to the land of the free when you are ready. And there we are. I'm, I'm awake. And what I've gathered from that dream is Watford is the land of the free. And that was pretty sick. It was a dream that stuck with me. Anyway, My next dream that I had last week on Tuesday morning, another wacky one. I told my friends about this one. Um, Maybe I'll read it. I'll say it from memory. I'll say it from memory. So I was tasked with making brookies, popular dessert, brownies, cookies. Don't know if you heard of it. Um, I was tasked with making brookies, so I made the brownie batter and I made the cookie dough. And for some reason, I've got to leave the house to get something, so I do. And I come back and someone's already baked my cookies and brownies separately, except they didn't separate the cookies into like separate clumps, and the brownie batter wasn't poured correctly, and they overbaked it, so the brownies were just like bready, and the cookies were shit because it was just a big clump. And I was just enraged. I was annoyed. Right? I was like, who did this? Who did this to my cookies and brownies that I was supposed to use in my brookies? And then my brother comes downstairs and he's like, yo, we're going to London in 5 minutes. I was like, I didn't know about this. He's like, well, you do now. Go pack. So I said, okay. I go upstairs. I start packing my bags. But then I open my rucksack and there's a wasp nest in there. I'm like, what? Why is there a wasp nest in my bag? And then the wasps start flying out, attacking me. And bada bing, bada booms, there's a whole swarm of wasps coming out of my bag. And then they start attacking the brownies and the cookies. And I'm like, yo, you don't attack that. Hard work went into that. That's been overworked. So I unsheath my fly spray, absolutely decimate the wasps. They're wriggling and writhing all over the floor. Wasps are my natural enemy. We'll get into that in a minute. Wriggling and writhing all over the floor. Man, when I tell you I was victorious, oh, I was victorious, almost close to the Nickelodeon show. So I go back upstairs, open my bag, wasp nest is still there, wasps are still coming. I hotbox, what do you call it? I fumigate my rucksack with the fly spray. Nest vanquished. I win. I start packing my clothes again. Open my bag, another wasp's nest. I can't say wasps. I'm really bad at saying wasps. I've got a little bit of a lisp, I think. A wasp. Another wasp nest. And then I wake up. Right? Crazy dream. I'm like, what was that? What was that? And on that day, I'm going to a barbecue. Like on the morning that I've woken up that day, I'm going to a barbecue. I've got to drive to my cousin's house. And my plan, I marinated chicken to take with me. And also the night before, I baked brookies. No, not the night before. On the day, I baked brookies. 2 batches because my dad likes dessert. So I take it with me. We're doing the barbecue. Wasps start attacking us while we're doing the barbecue. I thought they're scared of smoke. No, I'm on the grill. I'm a man. I pick up a skewer. We've got a big, like, I brought big skewers, big sharp skewers. Pick it up here on the grill. Absolutely cut a wasp in half. Nearly stab another one. The wasps just got out of there. They didn't know. They didn't know what they were messing with. They were gone. Yeah, they didn't know who I was. There I am, standing with like certain arrogance, certain hubris. Is that what is that? That's not the right context. Um, or it will be later. I beat the wasps. This is my barbecue. No one touches my barbecue. Only one touches my barbecue is me, and the people that are eating from it. I was manning that barbecue. I'm guarding the barbecue. So I go home. 3 days later, I'm walking down the road. Get attacked by 2 wasps. Didn't sting me because they're cowards. You know why? Because I punched one. Punched one. I said, fuck off, cunt. Wasp is gone. Crisis averted. Happens again. The next day, I'm at my uncle's house, sitting outside on the chair. A wasp comes, hovering right in front of my face. I'm perfectly still, eye to eye with it. Starts attacking everyone. Doesn't touch me. You know why? Because I'm still, like it's a dinosaur. Didn't touch me. Brave heart. Heart of steel. Cold. And that's my story of how an African uncle drove me to Watford, took my car and drove me to Watford, and also how I created lifelong enemies of wasps. And if you're still here, thank you. Bye.